Yagama 3, why not fly over Pacific? It's like shortcut to Asia, but this ocean wanna eat my falafel plane.
Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. How's everyone doing, folks? I'm Ashraf Ibrahim. Welcome to a brand new episode with us today. Inshallah, we're going to talk about a super weird and exciting topic. Why don't airplanes fly over the Pacific Ocean? I mean, picture this with me. The Pacific Ocean, the biggest ocean in the world, wide like an endless sea. If planes flew straight over it, from America to Asia, the trip would be shorter and way more fun, right? But why do airlines loop around north, over Alaska or Canada, like they're playing some detour race? It could be a disaster if something goes wrong, huh? This whole thing is like a big puzzle because flying isn't just a regular trip. It's a key part of our lives that God created, so we can travel and connect, but with a balance of safety and cost. Today, we're diving in with you to unpack this, and we'll try to figure out what makes planes avoid the Pacific. All right, let's get this weird flight adventure started. But before we dive deep, if this is your first time seeing me, please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you get all the updates. And if you've got any questions or comments, like, "Hey Ashraf, I'm scared to fly over the ocean, but after this episode, I'll love flying," drop it in the comments below, and we'll reply to you first thing. Cool? All right, let's jump into the topic.
So, what's the Pacific Ocean all about? If we want to understand why no flights go over it, we gotta start from the basics. What exactly is this Pacific Ocean? Folks, the Pacific isn't just a big sea, it's a real giant. Imagine this. It's about 165 million square kilometers, covering more than 30% of the whole Earth's surface. It's 15,000 kilometers long from Alaska down to Antarctica. And at its widest, it stretches 20,000 kilometers. That's bigger than all the continents put together, with just a few small islands like Hawaii or Guam, but mostly it's wide open, no solid land. And get this, it's been around for millions of years thanks to the tectonic plates that God created to shape the planet. Scientists say its name, Pacific, comes from the Spanish Pacifico, meaning peaceful, but that's a big fat lie. In reality, it's full of storms, strong winds, and waves up to 15 meters high, especially in winter. Picture that. On top of all this, flying straight over it would be a super long haul. But what makes it exciting isn't just its size, it's how it controls the world's weather. It's a source of winds that affect the air everywhere. God Almighty made it like the planet's weather engineer, as scientists call it. And you'll see why planes dodge it when we look at why planes dodge it.
Why don't planes fly over the Pacific? If you're asking yourself, "Ashraf, this ocean's huge. Why not fly over it and get it done quick?" The answer's simple. Flying's like a game where you gotta play smart, not just strong. First off, the main reason is the Great Circle Route, or what we call in English the shortest path on a globe. Guys, Earth isn't flat like the maps we see, it's a sphere. So a straight line on the map isn't actually the shortest, it's a curved path on the globe. Quick note, those flat maps on Google Maps fool us with straight lines, but in reality, they're bent. Imagine going from Los Angeles to Tokyo. The direct way over the Pacific would be longer because of the equator bulge, so planes loop north over Alaska or Siberia, saving about 1,000 kilometers. That means huge fuel savings, since planes burn kilograms of fuel every minute, which saves money for the airlines and cuts costs for you as a passenger. Second thing, safety first. The Pacific is so vast. with just a few islands that aren't enough for emergency landings. If something breaks on the plane, like an engine issue or air pressure problem, there are no nearby airports. The closest is Hawaii, but that's thousands of kilometers away. In flying, you need ETOPS rules for twin-engine planes that let them fly far from airports for a set time. But over the Pacific, that's a huge risk. Picture it. If the plane crashes in the middle, rescue's no easy feat, and the water's freezing with sharks everywhere. Plus, the weather's brutal. Tropical storms, jet streams with winds up to 400 kilometers an hour, and turbulence that makes passengers nauseous the whole trip. Scientists say turbulence over the Pacific is 20% worse than other routes, so pilots prefer the calmer northern paths. Third thing, economics, folks. Flights over the Pacific would need 10 to 15% more fuel, jacking up ticket prices. And with fuel so expensive now, companies won't bite. Also, low demand. There aren't tons of direct flights between South America and Australia, so northern routes are cheaper and faster. Flying's like business. It has to make profit.
How did we figure out avoiding the Pacific? The story of discovering this isn't new. It started with commercial flying in the 1930s. Pilots have always feared big oceans, and in the 1940s, after World War II, studies proved curved routes are shorter thanks to math on the globe. For example, in the 1960s, Pan Am was the first to map paths over Alaska, saving tons of fuel. Then in the 1970s, crashes like one over the Atlantic made the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, set strict ETOPS rules on how far planes can fly from land. The big shift came in the 1990s when new planes like the Boeing 777 could fly 180 minutes non-stop, but the Pacific's still risky. In 2000, a study in an aviation magazine showed 90% of flights from the U.S. West Coast to Asia avoid the center due to weather causing 30% of delays. So modern science answers folks who say, why not fly a straight line? It proves safety's worth more than speed.
What would happen if planes flew right over the Pacific? Now the action part. Imagine this scenario, folks. If airlines decided to fly direct, first thing would be higher costs. Fuel would jump 12%, so a ticket from New York to Sydney might go up $200, and passengers would complain. Second, safety risks. If something breaks, rescue could take days. In 2014, MH370 vanished over the Indian Ocean, and the world searched for months. So think Pacific. Studies say emergency landing risks would rise 5-fold, and turbulence would cause passenger injuries. Third, environmental impact. Planes over the ocean would boost carbon emissions, adding to global warming, especially since the Pacific fuels storms that change the climate. Picture stronger storms from flying. In the end, economic and health chaos. Like experts on Reddit said, the impact would be massive, like an environmental disaster.
The challenges of flying over oceans. The biggest challenge is the Pacific's sheer size, over 165 million square kilometers. And that space has no solid land for planes to land on. So if a plane in the air, God forbid, has a problem like an engine failure or navigation glitch, it has no option to touch down. It's just water below. On top of that, the Pacific's the deepest ocean on Earth, with the Mariana Trench at 11,000 meters deep. A plane crashing there? No one's touching it. That's why flight route bosses always keep planes over land, more spots to handle emergencies. Plus, the narrowest part of the Pacific is about 20,000 kilometers long, and not all planes can cross that in one go. Many need a fuel stop midway. The latest Boeing models with full tanks can do 16,000 kilometers. That's a huge feat, but still short. Besides the vast space, there's another big challenge: the weather. The Pacific's one of the most unstable places on Earth. Fierce winds, rain, thunderstorms, and they hit suddenly. No accurate predictions, so it's more dangerous than the Indian or Atlantic Oceans. Forget Bermuda Triangle hype in the Atlantic, that's just media buzz, and inshallah I'll do an episode on its full history. In the Pacific, there are spots 100 times riskier, like the Sea of Momi, aka Devil Sea, where ships and planes vanish most. Add to that, no reliable infrastructure to track air traffic. Pilots can't fly long without ground navigation centers. There's a huge network of tracking stations worldwide. The Indian and Atlantic have dense coverage, plus islands with outposts. Atlantic controls split into 4 centers covering the whole ocean: New York, Santa Maria, Shanwick, and Gander. They ping planes every 14 minutes to know their position. But the Pacific? It was the black sheep. No infrastructure, no monitoring, no comms. So pilots, steer clear. Wrapping it up. In the end, why no flights over the Pacific? Because curved routes are shorter, safer, and cheaper. Fuel savings, storm dodging, fewer risks. If you've got a question, drop it in the comments, and we'll try to answer in future episodes. All right, see you in the next one, and don't forget, subscribe and hit the bell. Peace.